Good morning, friends. It's Stacy with Shakti Revolution. It is our belief that our future depends upon the spiritual awakening of women and girls. Today, I'm going to be talking about the rise of the sacred feminine and, well, it's Easter, so happy Easter. So I'm also going to be talking about probably Christ consciousness, Jesus, and Mary Magdalene. So today I'm going to start with a Lakota prayer that I came across a few days ago, which is just gorgeous and really talks about, I believe, the future of humanity. When I imagine our best possibility, which is the only thing that I can hold, the only vision I can hold for our children. Great mystery. Teach me how to trust my heart, my mind, my intuition, my inner knowing, the senses of my body, the blessings of my spirit. Teach me to trust these things and love beyond my fear, so that I may enter my sacred space and thus walk in balance with the passing of each glorious sun. This, to me, speaks a lot about the sacred feminine, because it's really the opposite of religion. It's the ability to manifest from the inside out instead of the outside in. The outside in typically has been a external judgmental God, maybe with a long white beard that's shaking his finger at us, blaming and shaming us, when the reality of the situation is we are our own angel. We are our own devil. Our spiritual path is a process of reestablishing trust in ourselves, trust in each other, and the reality that the wisdom is inside us that connects us to all of creation, or whatever you want to call it. Humanity has been playing small. We are capable of so much more. And I believe that's what Jesus was teaching us. It's not saying, I accept Jesus as my savior. It's saying, I accept the consciousness within me that is possible within me. Christ consciousness, if you will. All right. And today, because this is kind of my shtick. You guys saw the Drunk History series on Netflix? Well, I'm doing this. Today it's Prosecco with a bit of mango essence. It's quite delicious. Cheers. So last year on Friday night, Mary Magdalene whispered in my ear and said, hey, I want you to do a talk on who I am, because it's not just being a prostitute. Now, prostitutes, there's nothing wrong with being a sex worker. I think it's probably one of the most spiritual professions, if you are doing it by choice. But the reality in our world is that 1 in every 4 females, by the time they're 20, will be a victim of violent crime. 1 in every 3 females on our planet will be a victim of sexual violence. That's from the World Health Organization. And also what's on the rise is sex trafficking, okay? So now someone that is a sex worker by choice is very different. I believe that they're actually a healer, okay? So I want to preface that, okay? So Mary Magdalene, sex worker, saint, sinner, Jesus's wife. And the 2,000 years since Mary Magdalene is said to have watched Jesus Christ die on the cross and then resurrected, she's been labeled many things. The label of prostitute has stuck for centuries. Pope Gregory pronounced her a prostitute in 591. And that is part of what has squished the sacred feminine. In Western culture, women are often thought of as being a negative prostitute, whore, or a virgin. Okay, so the reality is that most women are in between this space, and there's actually nothing there. So we don't see ourselves as part of the religious story. So, and moving forward with humanity, I believe that we need to start talking about things that perhaps we would discuss in mystery schools and women's mystery schools, because the sacred feminine is in everyone. It's not just in women. We see it in men when they're parents. It's beautiful. That protective energy. And actually, that is the sacred masculine. The sacred masculine is holding the space, creating the space for safety. Creating the space for safety is critical in this world, because we cannot be who we are born to be. And a lot of people are saying women are going to save the world. Well, it's not possible if we don't create safety for women and girls. It's not happening. It's not going to happening. So something that flew in the face of this Pope Gregory thing was Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. And in that, they talk about the popular theory that Mary Magdalene was, in fact, Jesus's wife. So many myths surround Mary Magdalene to this day. However, since I'm a Shakti, of course, I'm going to say that Mary Magdalene was indeed Jesus's wife. So I love the idea on Easter. There's a lot of stories about the Easter story with Mary Magdalene, but I like to think of the one where she goes to visit Jesus's tomb, and perhaps she brings lunch for herself and her sisters. And Jesus actually appeared resurrected to women. Okay, I think there's some symbology in that. We could actually make an interpretation or a construct about that. And if I'm going to go there, I would say that the resurrection is with women. And the white eggs in Mary's basket turned red. And she arrived at the site of the resurrection, finding the stone already rolled away, and she found the eggs in her basket had turned bright shades of color and red. And that's how we started dyeing Easter eggs. Mary Magdalene. Okay, so she was Jesus's wife. And we're going to just go to current era. She's actually getting some really good feedback from Pope Francis and Archbishop Roche. So he said that it was certain that Mary Magdalene was part of the group of Jesus's disciples. She accompanied him to the cross and the garden where she met him at the tomb. She was the first witness of divine mercy, and Pope Francis decided to elevate her memorial to a feast called the Jubilee of Mercy. It's done in order to emphasize the importance of this woman who so loved Christ and was so greatly loved by Christ. This was 2017. So from 591 to 2017, she's getting some, kind of negative press about her, diminishing her role as Jesus's equal partner. Okay. So like many women before me, I've experienced dark nights of the patriarchy. And realizing how deeply and profoundly all of Western history, the history that of which I am most aware of, well, that's not true. If we go back to the tantric history, in Western culture, rendered contributions of women all but invisible. That God first entrusted the proclamation of the resurrection to women tells me that while human beings discriminate, creation or God or the Great Spirit does not. Now is the time for the rise of the sacred feminine within all of us. It is the time for equality for all, for we are one. The vibration of the planet is rising. We have an opportunity to become who we were born to be in this reality. This is the resurrection of Christ's consciousness. That's what Easter is all about. It's not about a man. I mean, Jesus was amazing, but Jesus showed us the possibility of what it was to be a conscious person. Okay, so, and Mary Magdalene helped him get there because they had a tantric relationship. So we know what the Holy Grail is, okay? The Holy Grail is the womb of a woman, okay? The challenge is that women have to feel loved, safe, supported in order to allow this part of us to come forth. Now, if we are able to release our bullshit about shame and blame of ourselves and others, we have the ability to create on a higher level. So I see us moving from 3D consciousness, which is duality. It's me and them, me versus them, you know. Maybe it's feminists versus Black Lives Matter, you know, men versus women, people against any culture based on skin, color, gender, etc. Moving to a 5D consciousness. So 5D consciousness is based in unity. We are moving in that direction. It's like gravity, and it's happening whether we believe it or not. So I'm going to read a little bit about Mary and the essence of Mary from my special goddess book by Doreen Virtue. And I actually do readings for this, and I'm actually attempting to make a living being a goddess coach, spiritual coach. And Mary Magdalene is very powerful. She reminds us that we need to love ourselves in every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. No matter what the outward appearances may be. Okay, so Mary is seriously badass, right, y'all? Okay, so I'm going to give you a message from Mother Mary, and she says, have faith that your prayers have been heard and have been answered. Okay, now humanity, we've asked for this. I mean, I'm thinking, dudes, I don't want my son to grow up in idiocracy, or my daughters, or any children on the planet. Like idiocracy, that level of consciousness kind of sucks. It doesn't kind of suck, it really sucks. It's about celebration, happiness, dancing, love, beauty, everyone being equal. It doesn't mean we're the same, it means we're equal. It means that we care about feeding all children, making sure everyone has a home and feels safe and gets to create whatever they choose to create in this world. So Mother Mary, oh, wait, we're on Mother Mary. Okay, Mother Mary. Now, we can't confuse Mother Mary with Mary Magdalene. So, I mean, there's a whole different world there too. So we could go into Mother Mary, but that's for another time. So we're going to go to Mary Magdalene. Okay. Whoa. Oopsie. You can't bake a cake without breaking a few eggs. So she reminds us to love ourselves and others and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. So Mary Magdalene says, I'm not what most people think. Yet to defend myself would be to sink to a lower level than I feel comfortable with. I am one with the divine, just as you are. And it is here that I choose to reside. The lower levels of human bickering, judgment, and chaos are just that. Lower levels of consciousness. I choose to do my work from the level of a higher consciousness, where love reigns supreme. It is here where I do the most good, and I urge you to do the same. Where you dwell in consciousness is where you truly dwell. So focus your thoughts on the good that you can find in other people and rise above all appearances otherwise. So she also says, don't worry about what other people think or say. Heal the situation with love. Okay, we've got a situation here. We need to heal it with love. Send love to those who have hurt or misjudged you. Forgive yourself for what you think you've done or have not done. Release old forgiveness towards others to help yourself heal and move on. Okay, now Mary Magdalene is pronounced Mary Magdalene. Although the Gospels have never specifically called Mary Magdalene a prostitute, okay, so many churches have raised her to the level of apostle. She's is thought to be the apostle of apostles now. She's the apostle of apostles. She was often seen kissing Jesus on the mouth. The apostles were jealous of her. There is a Gospel of Mary Magdalene, and she is, the other apostles are jealous of her, basically, because she's the favorite, okay, right? So her significant role with Jesus as described in the Gospels includes her washing his feet, witnessing his death, and being one of the first people to whom he appeared after his resurrection. Controversies about other roles she may have played include Christ's bride, temple priestess, or disciple. Okay, this is the really cool part. So although we might think of her as a individual, like in a human form, she's actually a energy in the phenomenal world. Okay, so a lot of this broken stuff to me represents, wow, it's time to break something. The way we're working is not working. The way it's not working. So we're resurrecting to create something new, something that's receptive, loving, compassionate, wise. So we can have a proper place for our children to live in the future. So any of these goddesses I'm going to be talking about will say, call upon the energy, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, luckiness, being lucky, great mystery. Call upon her, call upon the energy, the vibration of Mary Magdalene, with help for forgiveness and opening your heart to more love. So I wish you a very, very happy Easter, and may your consciousness rise with the energy that's happening right now on planet Earth. And may we find more balance, love, and Mary Magdalene within us. And I'm going to just enjoy this jelly bean. And every moment, take a jelly bean and really savor it. Gratitude. Okay. Western women are supposed to save the world because we have the resources, the education, the skills, the, articulation to do something, to save people from great suffering. So now is the time for the rise of the sacred feminine. It is our belief at Shakti Revolution that our future depends upon the awakening of women and girls, the spiritual awakening of women and girls. So in order to do that, there's 3 things we can do today to help that. First thing is to pass the Equal Rights Amendment, which is now in the Senate, to remove the deadline on equal rights. The US government has never supported women, or any government for that matter, as we got a bad rap somehow. I think that there were people in power that were afraid of our power. Witches, whatever you want to call us, right? Number 1, we need 10 Republican votes, senators. I'm hoping they'll choose humanity over their ego and re-election, or whatever construct they have. Number 2, we need to work together. Okay, we need to educate people. Pay attention, because most women don't even know we don't have equality of rights in this country. I'm reaching out to other women's groups to let them know that we can work together. We need to work together with men. They're our best friends. Everyone can raise the sacred feminine within them. And number 3, this is something you can do today on a personal level, is unless you're under the age of 18, to stop calling yourself girl. Okay? I believe that was a term that was started in the 9-to-5 era, where women, professional women, maybe their executive assistants, we had a few choices in the 70s. They would have their girl go get their coffee, their girl go get the dry cleaning. It's a way to keep us down. So if you want to argue with that, well, think about perhaps I spoke with an African-American gentleman about being called boy. Well, he didn't have very positive reviews on that. So we have to call ourselves women proudly. Or we could just skip over that and call ourselves a goddess, or a high priestess, or wise woman, curandera, witch, whatever you want to call yourself. Because we're here to save the world and have fun at the same time. Love in the spite of the appearance. And follow Mary Magdalene's example of unconditional love. So next time I'm probably going to be talking about the rise of Shambhala this week. So if you've joined me, thank you for joining me. Happy Easter. I'm wishing you a day of balance and harmony. Blessings.